Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Royce. I am your runner, and tonight I have a very, very special guest. A lot of you might know him as Big Red, and he so eloquently told me he is soon to be Normal Red. Matt Krueger, he ran the shop out at Kiowa Creek. A lot of you guys probably still buy BBs from him. He's one of the few people in Colorado that I know that is getting HPA BBs in on a regular basis and being able to just get those high-quality BBs out to the community, as well as being able to help in other ways. Like he's got a bunch of old gear he's able to help, sell to people and things like that. So announcements, I want to get those out of the way. I am going to try to return to my normal once a week gameplay videos. I just have to find fields that I can kind of get to that are a little bit closer than 2.5 to 3 hours away. But I am going to try to return to that. This podcast on Fridays seems like it's becoming a thing, and there are a lot of members of the community that are really interested in getting on here and talking about it and very interested in helping. So the podcast on Fridays is going to be a regular thing, at least for the foreseeable future. Also, I want to do an experiment with something that I don't really see anybody else do. I get some new gear here and there, or I have some like airsoft ideas here and there for like what I showed you with the sideways mag stuff. And what I'm thinking of doing is I really like the live format. And what I'm thinking of doing is I'll probably just get like a selfie stick for my phone or something. And I want to do live reviews. So it's not just like, hey, here's my opinion. You can literally weigh in and I can look at the chat and stuff and actually do like a live review of like, I've gotten a couple of brand new things. I got new goggles. I got a new pistol, which I'm super, super thrilled about. So that way I can just interact with you guys more. Let me know what you think about the live stuff, but without any further ado, Matt, why don't you say hi to the people and introduce yourself and kind of give us a little bit of your experience in airsoft, both professional and player.
Well, everyone, as Roy said, my name is Matt Krueger. On the field, my call sign is Big Red, and he mentioned possibly going to Normal Red. Started a diet, and I'm down 21 pounds as of today, so go me on that.
That's awesome.
As far as going as playing, I've been playing for about 7.5 years. I'm going to move that just a little closer.
You're slightly more soft-spoken than some of our other people.
Oh, yeah. Right here, man.
Oh, yeah. No, it's, oh, yeah, no. That's why it's,
okay.
They have to be.
So as far as, been playing for about 7 years. Started typical kid not knowing what I'm doing, getting into airsoft. Played back in high school a little bit with some buddies in somebody's backyard. Had no clue what airsoft could be or is in some facts of how we play. Never went to a field, nothing like that. Then my buddy Andrew Johns, he moved out to Missouri. He actually got me into airsoft again. He told me one day, he's like, hey, let's go play. Walked in, he had all his gear, his extra gun lying around. He's like, here we go. This is your stuff you're going to use today. And never looked back, man. I have a whole gun wall, my own arsenal, anything you could ever want or see or need. Any of my friends are like, hey, you got this? Yes, I do. As far as professional side, got involved with, many of you probably know Sean from Kiowa Creek. Got involved with him and took up over his shop because he had problems getting materials and equipment, and took that over, and we started going gung-ho. And then, fortunately, everyone knows the story about what happened there. I'm trying to bounce back from that now.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the things that what inspired this whole podcast thing was actually my video that I did talking about Go Airheads. That video got a lot of attention in a way that I wasn't sure it was going to. So I wanted to start doing this podcast because I figured, well, if I'm talking about the problems with the field, which tends to be somewhat controversial, maybe if I talk about building the community, we might get that much attention. And so far, I don't know yet. I would hope that people want to come in and build a community and join these podcasts in a positive way, because I really don't want to do the negative stuff on my channel. So
you're not typically a negative guy either.
No, I'm really not. I don't have a lot of time in my life for that, dude. I really don't. I mean, negativity takes up so much emotional energy. And for somebody such as myself, who I'm a little bit more logical in a lot of instances, it takes up a lot of time and energy. Not only that, stress stays in your system for 7 days because of the chemicals from the brain release. It takes a lot. It takes a lot out of you to be stressed and negative. So yeah, I could go into the sciencey stuff, but after that, some local members of the community messaged me and they said, "Hey, if you're down, I I would love to be able to talk about the community and do a show. Are you interested in doing that? Because I told a lot of people, if you want to get on and talk, let's do it. Well, Matt was one of the people that did not reach out. I actually reached out to him because I know what he's trying to do. He was there the day that Kiowa burned down. You know, he was there helping to try to stop the fire, helping to get people out of the way, helping to make sure that everyone was safe and accounted for, and so on. And I know that since then, he's really been trying to do his best to find another place to go, but it's been really hard because trying to make connections for land is different than making connections for airsoft.
Definitely, yes.
So
definitely.
I figured let's have him on. Let's get the community involved, and I want to ask him some questions, and then we're going to do a Q&A at the end, which is going to be standard format. So let's get into the first question here, which I already asked, which is what is your experience? And so what's currently the thing that you need to have for the field?
The thing currently I need from the field is land. Simply, in Colorado, land's expensive. Kiowa was going great, and so I bought a house, and everything was going great, and then Kiowa happened, and everything kind of just went downhill slowly. Lost the backing of the community. Everyone was gung-ho. Hey, whenever you're ready to rebuild, we'll be there. We're ready to help provide materials, be labor if you need it, and everything was thumbs up.
I'm still hearing all that, by the way.
Well,
I'm still hearing all that.
I thought it kind of drooped off, but I guess not.
No, I had quite a few people come up to me recently. I actually had people come to, hey, dude, are you going to be able to field? No.
It could have gone that way after that video.
yeah, no kidding. And people are still excited to build a field.
So with that, I have connections for the BBs, as Royce was saying earlier. If you need the high-quality BBs, talk to me. Trying to do it, not necessarily how you call it, under the radar, but if you need BBs, I can get them to you cheaper than anywhere else can.
He's going to meet you in an alley behind Denver. There might be some drug dealers going on, like, down the way. It's fine. I've done it. It's cool.
Going to be okay.
He's a big guy. The druggies usually leave him alone.
So I've got the BB connection. I've got like the batteries. I can do the rentals. I got a buddy I got connections with there. I've got anything,
CO2. I'm buying CO2 from
CO2 tonight from him. Yeah. Got anything and everything ready to go. I even got a staff lined up of how to run the field and what's going to go down. Even got some of the contract language written up for if someone's wanting to rent land. That's another option I'm open to.
Renting or lease. I think a lease to own type situation. That's another idea. Perfect.
So we're looking at that. The reason it comes into play here and the difficulty of me bringing this up is I feel like I've done a conscious effort. I've gone and talked to people I know. I've talked to paintball fields if they'd want to get into airsoft. A couple of them said they've had a bad taste from previous workings with other airsoft entities. And I was like, well, it's different if I get involved. And they're like, no, we're not really interested. And then where I need the help is somebody out there has got to know somebody who knows grandparents or parents or somebody who has land who'd be willing, that they don't use, particularly like Kiowa Creek, creek bottom or something like that you can't grow crops or anything on, something like that would be ideal. Somebody in the community knows somebody who could help us out. And it wouldn't necessarily be a favor or anything like that. It'd be a written contract with money involved.
Yeah.
Where I bring in money from the field and I'm willing to pay them rent. And just like any other general business, going into this concept with I want to build a field to help drive this community and rebuild the community that was out there, not looking to necessarily make a profit, as in a profit would be nice. It's not my first priority.
No, especially because how do I phrase this? The players that I've talked to and that you guys have introduced me to, because like yourself, Darren, Caden, Cameron, and then just the players that I just met out at Kiowa or even before Kiowa, they want a field to call home, because Kiowa was offering something which is something that you want to offer. Kiowa offered a place for everybody to bring their beginner gear and wear it. Their Gucci gear, as I like to call it. Gucci gear. Sorry, Swamp Sniper. I love Swamp Sniper's videos. But the beginner gear, the Gucci gear, the fantasy loadouts, the post-apocalyptic loadouts, and everybody could go out. I mean, one of our good buddies in Airsoft, and you're better buddies with him than I am, he runs around as Green Darth Maul.
Yes, he does.
But we could still, but everybody came out. And it wasn't a milsim community. It wasn't a Speedsoft community. We had some Speedsofters coming out too. We had Speedsofters coming out. It didn't matter. If you had an Airsoft replica and you brought it to the field and you were a respectful player, you played. And everybody taught, man, and it was so great because you got to see, I mean, I want to build a, maybe not so post-apocalyptic, but more of like a dystopian future loadout, you know? Kind of get like one of the, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because of the post-apocalyptic players. And you saw all of that come together. And you could look at a team of people that were like, no, we want to play with these guys. And you'd have hardcore like GMR guy next to a guy in Russian kit, next to a post-apocalyptic guy, next to some beginners.
Next to the guy out there with a rental.
Next to the guy out there with a rental, next to a guy with Speedsoft. And I think that that's the primary goal, is to have a field that, at least for me, and I mean, Airsoft is so different. I'm not new to Airsoft replicas, but I am new to what Airsoft turned into over the last 10 years. Because I got out of it in like 2008, 2009. I mean, I played for a long time. I played for like 6 years. It was all backyard or on farmland or whatever with my buddies. And then I came in and I kind of looked at a lot of the field. I almost didn't get into it because of cheater videos. And that's why I'm so anti-cheater videos on my channel. Because I literally was watching all these videos going, well, I used to play. And I was like, wow, really? But then I met you guys. And then I went to Kiowa Creek. And then I saw the level of camaraderie that Kiowa Creek had. And it made me go, this could work. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the home you're looking to give. You're looking to find land to have all those people back, to bring that camaraderie back into Colorado Airsoft.
Yes, I'm looking for land to be able to build a field that everyone can call home. Everyone is accepted, as long as you mentioned it, that key word. You're a respectable player. Mm-hmm. You follow the rules. You don't talk trash. Don't call other people's hits. You're a respectable player. That's what I'm looking for, and that's the community we had. At Kiowa, if anybody had problems, the potential people who were new out there and wanted to bend those rules, you got the refs involved, and it was handled like that. It was awesome.
The refs were right there too. The refs were. There was one time we're shooting at a piece of cover, like 3 or 4 of us, maybe more. We're shooting at a piece of cover, and there's a hat, and we can see the hat, and it was a little bit out of some of our distances. And we're shooting, and all of a sudden the hat comes up and starts waving. We're like, sweet, we hit the guy. And then Cameron pops up with his ref gear. And we're like, Cameron, why were you hiding behind the cover? You're a ref. As if you guys were shooting at me. I was like, no, we were shooting at you because you were hiding behind the cover. And it kind of came into like what came first, the chicken or the egg type situation. What happened first? Did Cameron hide behind the cover first for whatever stupid reason? Or did we shoot at him first? I don't know. But the refs were constantly out there monitoring the field.
I remember when we were doing PUBG, you had to be out there. If you weren't there in the middle of it, you were missing things.
Yeah. Oh, I remember, especially like your capture the flag games. I remember, and it's actually in a video on my channel. Cameron and one of the other refs was sitting by the truck right there in like the center of town. Yeah. Right outside of the church, I think. Mm-hmm. And there's a guy on the other side of the truck that I'm shooting at. And I literally was like, hey, refs, I'm sorry if I shoot you guys. My gun's kind of bad and I'm a horrible shot. I apologize. They're like, no, you're good. And they're just sitting there like
stuck in cover.
He's just stuck in cover. But it was so great to have that. So the biggest thing is you need land.
Yes.
You need a place to go. And by land, guys, it doesn't have to be 150 acres.
Nope.
It doesn't have to be 80 acres.
Nope.
In fact, and I brought this up to Matt. If anybody out there had, let's say, 40 acres, right? And they would be willing to rent Matt 15 of it, right?
Yep.
5 of it would go to parking, staging, and the shop.
Yep.
And the other 10 would be playable field. out of 40 acres. And then we could work an agreement where maybe, well, what if that 10 acres works, that 15 acres works, and you guys are making money, and we start really bringing in the money? Could we rent another 10?
I love that idea. You keep bringing that up all the time. Before we did this live cast, I love that idea.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a full 40 acres.
No, it doesn't.
We don't have to rent all your land from you. But could we rent a small chunk of it?
Especially, like I said earlier, the part you're not using. If you got creek bed or some land in the back 40 that you're not using, like, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, just something like, it's not going to disturb you if you, hey guys, just take the back 10 or take the back 15, put up a net, you're in the middle of a field, don't worry about it. So that's what he needs, and that's what we need the community involved with right now. Is we need the community involved with helping find land. If you know somebody who is a real estate agent who can find land for lease, if you know somebody who might need an extra $500 or $600 a month, or $1,000 or $1,500 a month, that could really help them, and they have land that they're not using, talk to them. See if this is something they'd be interested in. Obviously, the number one rule at this field, after iPro always on the field, is absolutely 100% no pyro.
Yes.
And only because it's easier to say no pyro than certain pyro is accepted. Because we saw what happened with Kiowa.
That's exactly what happened.
There was certain pyro accepted. A person came out, and no names will ever be given, because that guy stepped up to the plate.
He owned up to it.
And that takes a lot of cojones to do that.
Oh, he easily could have left and no one would have known.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So wherever he is and whatever he's doing now, I just want to give him props for that.
He's always welcome. Always welcome. Because I met him too. I remember him. I don't remember his name. I never got his name, but I remember what he looks like. And if I ever saw him again, he would be more than welcome at my field for what he did. Stepping up like that.
Yeah, not the burning down the field, but stepping up.
No, but that's the thing, is he could have left.
He could have, yes.
And it was an accident. It was an accident. It was something that shouldn't have been done. But you know what? The past is the past. And the fact of the matter is, he doesn't say, well, I didn't do it. No. He stepped up and he was like, I was the guy that did it. I will sign whatever I need to. But that's the thing. Let anybody know, well, no. Because of that, no pyro. Period.
That integrity is what we want at our field,
It's the integrity. And see, that's the thing, too. That's the type of player that Kiowa brought out. Is that a player who did something wrong owned up to it. Remember, honesty is what you do and say in front of people. Integrity is what you do when people aren't looking. Something that I was told years ago, working construction. Working with a lot of the safety stuff that I have to work around. But that's what we need the community to do. And Matt, if you guys need to get in touch with Matt, go to my Runner page, unless you know me personally and you already have my number or something. Go to my Runner page. Message me on my Runner page. I will get back to you. I will see what you have to say. I'll get you in contact with Matt, because I don't know if he wants his phone blowing up. I am opening up my my YouTube and my Facebook right now for this. So that's what you can do to help. You want a field like Kiowa Creek back? All we need you to do is find somebody who has land, or get us in touch with a real estate agent who's really good. And we could have, it's not going to be called this, but we could essentially have Kiowa Creek 2. It's not going to be called that.
No, it's not going to be called that.
We already have it. Do you like the name I pitched to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to say it.
No,
No, because I like keeping stuff secret.
Okay.
Because if you keep it secret, it builds anticipation. And when it builds anticipation, people get like the wet their pants excited, Kind of like how I get.
Yes.
So, that's what we need. That's what he's working on. What's your goal with this field? What's your goal? Where do you want to start? Where do you want to be after a year? Where do you want to be after 5 years? What's your goal?
So right now,
if we can find the land.
Where I'd like to start is I'd like to go in with, essentially a nonprofit kind of concept for like the first year, because you're not going to make money, but if whatever we can get paying into the field, I've got my big boy job. I'm a project manager for a civil contractor. I make decent money. Why do I need this? I need this to rebuild that community. So everything that starts off, it's going to be zero profit. I'll be able to pay the refs whatever they need to, buy materials to be able to put back in the field. Everything is going to be going back into the field.
Well, I think there's a number of us that are already willing to help with that too. Not just financially, but
the effort and labor
and finding material. Oh, dude, I drive to brand new construction jobs all the time. I'll let you know where every one of them is.
And I have no problem going and talking to those guys because that's what I do for a living. So working out a deal with them, if it's their trash, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Oh, dude, and some of the forms for the houses that maybe got run over by a forklift that day?
They've been used once.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. And that's a brand new wall for us.
That's a brand new wall.
So
might have a little bit of concrete on it. It might hurt to hit it a little bit more, but
so up to a year, essentially everything's going to be going back into the field and try and build a better field for the players. Obviously, if there's a little bit I can take out of that, that'd be great, but that's not what I'm looking for. Everyone talks about how they want a field back. They loved what Kiowa was, and I'd love to be able to give that back to the community.
I think I'm there too, and I think that helps all of us. I think because I want to be involved in this. I think my goal for a field to help you out with, I love coming up with game modes. Lord knows I brought a certain amount of game modes to Kiowa Creek.
Yes, you did.
I did. I brought Kill Confirmed to Kiowa Creek, which then not only turned from Kill Confirmed, but actually got integrated into multiple different games that were out there. I don't even know how many game modes I brought. I probably brought, out of the ones that I know that I brought, I think like 4 of them became pretty popular. Actually, the day that the field burned down, I brought in Fuel Run. And where the gas cans, and that was literally an on-the-fly game. Darren was tapped. Darren didn't know what game to come up with, and Phil walks right in between us. He goes, ask Royce. And I was like, oh, I'm on the spot. And I was like, what do you have in the shed? They had 2 empty gas cans. All right, let's play a game with some empty gas cans. But I think that's one thing that, and so many other players brought that stuff to the field. And like I know, like Cursus made all his foam. His foam dummy weapons and the fish and the rats and stuff, and he was able to sell those there, and that was really helped him out, I know. And
helped him, and he had his game format, Hunt Curses. Absolutely thought it was ridiculous when he brought it up, but when we played it the first time, I absolutely loved that game.
I hate that game.
He
picked so good at that.
Picked 1 or 2 other people, and he went and hid in the field somewhere. Oh. He had like 10, 15 minutes to go hide, and then we'd send everybody else out in a search party to find him. Or anybody.
He lost, didn't he? He lost once.
I think so.
And that was the day that I played. And I think what had happened is like 2 of the CX guys went, we're going to make them hunt us. So 2 of the CX guys went, and instead of, while everybody was dropping like flies, the CX guys went, and I think they held down like a sand bunker or something. And they ran out the clock. And Cursus was like, that's the second time I've ever lost that game. And Cursus is a good player. If you've ever squared off with Cursus one-on-one,
it's not fun.
It doesn't end well, generally.
Mostly it doesn't, no.
No,
it's never ended well for me.
I think I tied with him one time. And because what happened, I was over some tires, and this was before Kiowa. This was at another field, the one where, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Which we don't want to name names. But, so I pop over these tires, and I'm shooting, and I go dry. And I'm like, no, because it's Curses. You don't ever want to have an empty mag and have to reload, especially when he is within, 10 yards. So I drop to my back. I take my mag out. I throw it on the ground. I get my other mag in, and I lay on my back, and I just point it. And I make sure that and here comes Curses. He comes over with his tri-shot shotgun. He pulls the trigger. I pull the trigger. We killed each other. I tied with him. I've never won an engagement with that guy. I don't think I have. And if I have, I could be completely wrong. But no, I know Kiowa Creek helped a lot of players out. Helped me kind of be creative. I'm as business oriented as I am. I mean, I'm a musician. Being creative is a part of my soul. It's a part of that thing that I just love doing. And I know I came up with like Peace to the Region, and you guys at Kiowa Creek were like, dude, let's run Peace to the Region, because it was basically a story that we could do over 3 different weekends for standard price of admission that was going to lead up to the big post-apocalyptic game.
I know a lot of people were looking forward to that. It was a real bummer we couldn't do it.
Yeah, it was a bummer. Okay, so your first year, you're not going to make. You're
That's
not
what I was
going
getting
to.
to. I was like, can we revert back to that?
No. Oh no.
So first year, not really looking to make much at all.
Well, no,
obviously,
I just
if
wanted
you
to
could.
talk about some of the stuff that
Yeah.
you guys allowed players to do. And like I said, and I told you coming into this, I was like, dude, just so you know, I'll reel it back. I will reel it back. Don't worry, I'll always come back to it.
So after the first year, after the first year, would obviously like to have money to show for it, show money for my efforts. Who knows? Go bigger, get bigger things, build 2-story buildings, that kind of stuff, and elevate the field to a higher level. Going after that, like the field to essentially be self-sustaining, so that for my time I'm getting compensated, my refs are getting compensated. If I have other people in the shop, they're getting compensated. The media team that I have put together would be compensated. Right now, a lot of people are telling me, yeah, I'd be willing to help out and get it on its feet for free. Just keep me in mind. Absolutely. And pay the landowner, keep them happy, because if you don't have a landowner, you ain't got anything. But yeah, after 5 years, I'd like it to be able to, make a dent in my pocketbook as well as helping other people out, because I'm not necessarily looking to run it as a business to make money in the first place. There's all kinds of deals and guys I know who I have connections with at certain companies. Won't name any of those, but some of these guns that you're paying $300, $400 for, they don't cost that to get them. After the markup, that's what they cost. I'd be willing to talk deals with people about that. So,
And that's something that I know that we've talked about, especially. I just looked at the chat real quick just to see.
Nobody's watching, huh?
No, we actually have Phil's watching. Old Fart just jumped in asking what he missed, and he missed everything.
Everything.
So we're actually going to end the show, Old Fart. Sorry, he should have come.
Just for you.
Just no, but Phil actually was. Phil made mention that why don't you get a mobile shop going, and can I help me with like this thing that I have, which you're already in on. My idea. I had 6 people in a talk the other night.
Yes.
Which you're already a part of.
Another thing Royce is going to keep secret.
I like keeping secrets. For those of you who don't know, I keep information close to the chest. Makes it fun, one, because I love watching people try to figure me out. It's really great. It's
Not
fun.
for us.
It's fun. No, I know. I know. And 2, I love keeping information close to the chest because I keep information close to the chest and a lot of other people don't. So I'm able to figure other people out. It's really fun. But in addition to that, I want to make sure that people are in on it. Phil, we will be getting into the questions here in just a few. I just got a couple more questions that I want to cover with him about like his plans. Like I said, this is my channel, but whenever I have a guest on, my goal and my intention is for it to be the guest's show. It's their spot for them to talk about what they want to and reach out to the community in a way that they want to. I'm just kind of the mediator, but we'll get to that point. So I just wanted to check the chat and see if there was anything going on there. Okay. Who's going to help run the field? I know I want to be involved in it in some way, and that might come down to like volunteer reffing, stuff like that. But who's going to help run the field? And what's going to need to be run at the field?
So what's going to need to be run, depending on how big it gets and how fast it takes off. You got the administration side of it, people coming and going. I've got a couple people lined up. Not sure if I want to name names yet or anything like that.
That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to name names if you don't want to.
I know, particularly since you're here, you and I have talked about field design and love some of the ideas you've thrown out, as well as getting involved in helping with that.
And that goes part of with like my creative side too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, everything contractual wise, I'd be handling everything. Finances, bringing in new materials, BBs, batteries. If you want to make a deal about something or get a group package together kind of thing, I'd be running all that. As soon as I find land everything's in place to start the business, which probably is going to be something along Big Red Airsoft, something like that. You got something to say?
So if I hypothetically came to you and I was like, Matt, I have land now. Like, it's Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, you and I could walk out tomorrow and start putting the first couple of posts in the ground for buildings. Are you that ready?
In theory, it sounds that easy. It's not with all the political background of it.
Oh, no. What I'm saying, let's say I'm the landowner, right? Mm-hmm. And I say, bring a rough draft, and we will type in a little clause saying, this is a rough draft just to get started. We will have a final contract by X date, and we can put that on a draft, on a draft document. And I could literally sign my name on the line, and we could, if I was the landowner, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's take a lot of some of the political stuff out. Let's just go with the easiest thing. Would you be ready to like legitimately start hauling material tomorrow? Is that how ready you are? Or are there some other things you need to set up? Or in theory, you just got to make a couple phone calls, say, hey guys, next week we're going to be doing this.
Within 2 weeks, you could have structures going up.
Within 2 weeks. Okay, that's pretty damn good. See, and that's what I wanted to ask. That's pretty good. Within 2 weeks, you got structures going up. That's pretty good. So you already have an idea of who you want to help run the field.
You got 2 guys in mind for media support and reaching out to the community. Mm-hmm. I've got 3 or 4 guys who've contacted me interested about being referees.
And I'll help too. I got no problems being an in-game ref.
Partly being volunteer, player admins, that kind of thing. People who would help out to where you could have one ref running the game if you've got 2 or 3 in-game admins. Mm-hmm. People have issues. Hey, go talk to this guy.
Yeah. And we can always wear patch or something. Or
things like that. Everything's in play and essentially ready to go. It's just the land. And
it's just the land.
As soon as the land comes into play, snap the fingers and things are going to start happening.
Okay.
I wouldn't say necessarily it's a possibility of like March of a field being ready, but definitely by summertime.
So what if we got land? Hey Matt, you just got the greatest Christmas present ever, and an uncle that you didn't even know you had died and left you 20 acres.
20 acres in Colorado.
Yeah, 20 acres in Colorado. No, 20 acres in South Texas. No. Hey guys, I'm building a field.
My family has land in Texas. It'd be awesome to be there, but that doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, no. Okay, so realistically, obviously it takes time to build a field.
Yes.
And I'm the type of person that's committed. And my wife loves seeing me committed to stuff like this. She loves seeing me excited about that. This is my stress relief. That's why I do this. That's why I do this podcast.
That's why I do airsoft, period.
As manic as you saw me before we got going, because you saw how manic I
get. Oh, yeah, you were.
Oh, yeah. Believe it or not, that's just how that's just my normal operating temperature.
Your poor family.
Listen, my wife, she deals with it, and the kids love it because in many cases, like my energy level is like up with theirs, but I love doing stuff like this. And I'm going to tell you right now, if we started building, I was like, hey babe, I need to help build like 3 or 4 days out of the week. And literally I know we would build, and then I would bring airsoft replicas out, and we'd have like 2 guys, and we'd just run and just shoot each other at the end of the day after we were done building. Because that's how I would do it. Because I got to get some airsoft in, right?
Gotta get some airsoft. You got to know the lay of the field, so you know it better than other people. But to compound on that, I've got a buddy I know. He's got 2 boys. He wants to get into airsoft, and he told me like, "Hey, if you need stuff, man, and I've got it, and I can give it to you, let you use it, I'm down." I know he's got a skid steer. He's got a tractor. He's got all the attachments like digging holes with an auger. He's got the buckets. He's got the blade. I mean, if we need to grade stuff,
I can call my dad and say, "Hey, I need to borrow a flatbed trailer for a day."
Exactly.
I mean, I have a lot of connections like that too. I wish my dad didn't have cattle running on his land, because if I told my dad, hey, this much more money a month, he'd be like, meh. My dad do it. He's a little bit further out than Kiowa, but not much.
Everything's there and in place.
Okay.
So everything's ready to go. No need to start the paperwork or anything until something's in play. But as soon as that comes
you have drafts for the paperwork already drawn up, and that can obviously be changed according to however we need to. Insurance, is that already the thing, but that can become a thing rather quickly?
Rather quickly. Been talking to some people, and it's doable.
Okay. Rule set. What are you going to do for a rule set? What are the players going to have to follow when they go out there? I know me personally, I was a fan of the Kiowa Creek rule set. I really liked what you guys had going and in place. Not only that, I never had a mind, and they're making bouncing Betty mines. Have you seen those yet?
I have not, no.
You haven't seen those yet?
Nope. Looks like we're gonna do YouTube after this. You gonna look it up now? Do I need to? Do I need to cover the people while you look this up?
Oh no, I don't need to look it up because I already looked it up and I already know what I got to type in.
So, for instance, I'll go ahead and carry on about like the rule set.
Oh no, it's right here. It's right here. I already have it. Oh, I'm thinking of buying one.
Are these even available in the States yet?
I don't know, but we'll find out. I saw Navrich use one, and I looked it up, and I was like, "Are you screwing? Motion sensor activated?" Sorry, I brought up the Kiowa rule set, and nobody ever brought mines out. Nobody ever brought mines because they're useless. This bouncing Betty thing, which is called the Enamine.
Oh, this would be just an easy. This would be a fun game setup that we could do.
Oh, dude, if you had like 5 of those, or like
place
I would totally buy like 5 of them. I would literally buy like 5 of them, and then we could use them. And then be like, okay, here's the thing: we have to go place 5 of these in an enemy structure, and then all 5 of them have to be placed, and then you have to have the 5 remotes, and then you have to detonate them.
I'm curious about this. I'm looking at this video, and these are like 20, 30-foot kill radius on this thing.
5 meters.
They look further than that on this.
They said 5 meters. They said effective 5 meters. That's what the company says.
Okay.
Isn't that insane?
That's insane. Didn't know they made anything like that.
Yeah, with green gas, and they show you, and it takes like 30 seconds to set it up. Bam.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm so down. Sorry. What do you think of a rule set? What are you going to do for rule set?
Rule set, really like the way Kiowa was handled with chronoing with joules. The reason being is, as somebody has clearly made mention of before, there's a problem chronoing in FPS. The one thing I'm going to enforce is the safety factor of it with the iPro and all
sorry. If I come up and I kick you in the balls as hard as I can, you're probably going to want to know a little bit more than how fast my foot was moving.
You're right. Are you wearing steel-toe boots? Are you wearing boots or tennis shoes or flip-flops?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
You're right. Yeah.
And think about it that way. If you get kicked in the balls, and afterwards, if you're like me, you're going to want to know, why did that hurt way worse than normal? Oh, because he was wearing steel toes because it mattered. And the guy, is about 300 pounds and wears a size 14 foot. It's 14 shoe, whatever.
It's like getting kicked by Haas from the Ponderosa.
It really is, dude. I like the jewel thing, though. Sorry.
So, chrono and joules. You can revert back to Kiowa for all those kind of joule limits for what kind of destination of rifle you're using or replica. Then the one thing I want to hammer home is the safety factor. I know we've been pushing it at work. No one wants to get hurt, so to alleviate those, the iPro, everyone's got to wear the full set iPro. The under 18, just like at Kiowa, the lower face pro.
I'm a fan of lower face pro for just about anybody, and at the very least, I'm even good with from 18 to 21. Here's a rule that I just thought of, because generally from 18 to 21, you're still with mommy and daddy, right? Mm-hmm. Well, at least in today's day and age. I was out of my parents' house when I was 19, but from 18 to 21, dude, I'm even the type of guy that just mouth guards something. Maybe not a mandatory rule, but a mouth guard, something to protect them teeth, man, because you start getting teeth knocked out.
I know. When I started playing, you were a wuss if you wore the face pro. You weren't tough enough. You need to toughen up, Buttercup. I got shot in the face and gotten busted open before. I'll never go back to trying to roughneck it and tough it out.
So here's the thing. When I came back into Airsoft, I already had a wife, so I didn't need to impress anybody. Kind of. Because if I start to fugly anything about me up, my wife will leave. She's told me this. I'm only allowed to gain so much weight. You met my wife.
Yes.
Tonight.
She's lovely. She's lovely.
She is. She's nice. A lot of people would look at her and go, what? No, she's awesome. She's awesome. My wife, seriously, we're building. My wife is going to be like, hey, guys, what do you want to eat tonight? She loves doing that stuff. Can I bring food out for the guys? My wife she loves
all over
that.
that.
Oh, she's all over that stuff, dude. It's great. Actually, that's something. Can we add into the rule set that once a month your admission gets you a barbecue or a burger or something? Because I love fields that you come in, you pay an admission, and then, hey, maybe not all the time because it can get pretty pricey, but we'll provide lunch. The price of admission, at least once a month, because I love that rule. I love that. That was because there was one field that I went to, again, not going to name names. We discussed before the show, we're not going to talk about that field.
No, that's definitely an option. And it wouldn't be anything outrageous. Like you said, it'd be hamburgers and hot dogs or something like that. But it would drive that sense of community there, that this is a place I can call home, this is what we do, and if you only come out that one time a month, hey, at least you're still coming out and being part of the community.
Mm-hmm. So, Jules, love the engagement distances at Kiowa. I thought the engagement distances were very good. I love the understanding of what Jules were, and what heavier BBs could do to people.
I got a great story. If you guys ever want a good story about that, you need to talk to Ross DeMito with is it RDD Works.
RDD Works, yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He came out to Kiowa, thought he knew what he was doing. Then we showed him the potential of what heavyweight BBs can do for his gun, and he lit up like a Christmas tree. It's an amazing story. If you ever have time, ask him.
Yeah. And Ross is such a good guy, too. That guy, Ross is one of those people, he genuinely has a heart of gold. There's not a lot of people in life that have hearts of gold. I think just the world and society tend to change people. And Ross is one of those people that I just look at and I go, his resiliency to the world is just amazing. Not only that, but when I decide to actually upgrade any of my stuff professionally, I'm going to go to Ross.
Ross is a good guy.
Ross is a phenomenal tech. Okay, so we've been on that subject for just a moment. Let's shift gears a little bit. So the rule set.
That last thing with the rule set is the safety for everybody. I know some fields got this like barrel bag thing going on. Some of them mag out. Kiowa Creek was mag out, weapon clear kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We're doing the whole like 5, 6, 7 star stop system. You got to take your magazine out. You got to clear your weapon. You have to put your barrel bag on. And when you're out in the actual field, we're going to have a designated time where you cannot touch your weapon. You can reload your magazines and everything like that, but you cannot touch your weapon. Too many issues have happened. Well, hello, friend.
Yeah, that's Jess. She's the fat one that doesn't like the kittens upstairs.
So there's going to be all these steps taken into account, and the big thing I know you and I have discussed that I'm very firm on, and you've tried talking me both ways on it, both scenarios. It's a one error kind of thing. You're going to get one shame on you, and then the second time, you're done. You're out. First time, we'll take you out for a game. You're going to have to sit out a game and think about what you did. Second time, you're done. You're going home. I don't care if it's going to be 10 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the evening. You're done.
No, but see, and I agree with that because it drives home the severity of you're paying. And here's the thing. If you're going to go out and you're going to be a jerkwad playing, I'll clean up my language a little bit because anybody else gets on here that cusses like this, I would imagine that if Darren comes on the show,
it's going to be a whole different light.
Oh, it's going to be a whole different language. But if you're going to be a jerkwad out on the field, you need to understand something. You're wasting other people's money. And that boils down to a huge respect thing. Because not only are you disrespecting somebody in game, you're disrespecting the hard-earned money, their time, effort, and energy that they spent at their jobs to get the money to come out and have a day playing airsoft.
I heard it from a personal buddy a long time ago, too. You're not necessarily paying for the field. I mean, you kind of are, but you're paying for the experience to be there.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was you or someone else.
Don't put that kind of wisdom on my shoulders. I mean, I appreciate
that might have been my buddy Andrew. I can't remember.
It's probably him. It's probably him. All right. We've already talked about this a little bit, but this is the last question that I have, and I'm going to ask it again to reaffirm it. How can the community help?
I need everyone to put your question shoes on. Ask people you know. Ask your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles. Ask family members. Ask people at your church, at the YMCA, anywhere and everywhere. If you have good friends, ask them. Get in touch with Royce, Runner, or myself if you want to find me on Facebook. And need someone to either be willing to sell land or lease to own or something like that. That's what we need.
Damn it! I'm trying to get you to break, and you didn't.
I tried.
Way to go! Oh, I was trying on that one.
I had you singing, the cat jumping up. Man, it was.
Oh yeah, that she owns the basement. She is who she is. All right. We are gonna open it up now for. We're gonna open it up now for Q&A. Anybody wants to ask Matt questions or myself questions? Let's get it going. I know he's got a decent drive from here. It's not long.
I'm not here for the drive. I'm here for you guys. Here for the community.
And I think that's really where we're sitting right now. Is we're really here for Man, my channel shifted when I did that Go Airheads video. Guys, we're just going to BS for a second. I have a 40-second delay between us talking and you guys hearing it. Start asking your questions as I see them pop up. We're going to answer them. If you guys have no questions, that's fine. If you're watching this, obviously, after the video posts, comment in the comments section down below. No questions yet.
Didn't Phil something about like a mobile shop or something?
Yeah, Phil actually mentioned that. He was because people are watching my channel right now, which is something new for me. And I think everybody knows that I have something in the works. Not a lot of people know what it is yet, or they don't know the full extent as to what it is. I will be building a community that will be traveling to fields. That much is out. But I don't think they know the rest of the details, such as what you know. There are people that I asked to be involved in this, people who I know who are still actively involved in airsoft, still want to be actively involved in airsoft, haven't taken any breaks after Kiowa. I took a break after Kiowa went down, not because I wanted to take a break, but because, life happens. And that just... You got to take care. You got to take care of home so you can have your hobbies.
Got to be an adult sometime.
Yep. And so, but he mentioned. So, do we need a food license to serve food? I would imagine that that's probably going to be a thing.
It's potential if you're serving it like a pizza joint comes on or something like that. Yes. If you just provide the hot dogs and let them cook them themselves and all that. You don't, is my understanding of it.
Yeah. So,
if I cook the food for you and give it to you, yes, you do. If it's there and you make yourself a hot dog, no.
Yeah. I'm saying that's something that could be. We just literally, we have the hamburger meat, but then people come up, and we could obviously explain that to people and people would understand it. I will say this. I miss Kiowa.
I think everyone who played there does.
But here's the thing. I don't miss the location. I wasn't particularly attached to a location. Never really have been.
I would agree with you on that.
I loved all the people that I played with. I went to LZ Airsoft this last weekend. Long drive. It's in Fountain. It's not in the Springs. It's in Fountain. From here, that's a ridiculously long drive.
Like 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours if I take E470, which costs me $25. It's 12.5 to get from I-76 and 470 down to I-25 and 470 on the south end, not the north end, the south end, and then coming back it's another $12.50. So it's a $25 bill, and then it's $15 for me to get in down there. Adds up,
and the gas alone too.
I get good mileage in my car. I'm not too terribly worried, but yeah, it's from my house. It's like 150 miles.
All to go pew-pewing. Look at that commitment.
All to go pew-pewing. I've done it for work, but when I do it for work and I have to drive that much, I get paid bank because bank is a thing in my industry. Casey Thompson's here. Wow, I didn't know Casey Thompson was here. Other than finding land, what's going to be the biggest hurdle getting a field up and running for you?
For me, it's going to be the coordination effort. Like I said, I'm a project manager for civil contractors, so I deal with subs, my crews, materials coming and going. Because everybody's going to want to be getting involved. Everybody, from what I've heard, is wanting to help. Hey, if you need help, I'll be out there. I'll help build. There's one gentleman I know who was wanting to help build trenches. Other guys, I know.
Love trenches.
Old Fart. He's
also I know the OSHA safety regulations for trenches too, so I can actually make that happen.
He's Old Fart's an electrician, as well as Darren is too. So
he thinks he's an electrician.
So to be able to hook up electricity, things like that. I know one thing we want to put together is a decent PA system, which, knowing my background from college and being an audiovisual technician, is not that difficult. Takes a little bit of money, but not a lot.
It doesn't even have to take a lot of money because you can go to like Ace.
True.
And you can order a hell of a lot of wire for really cheap. And then basically just go out and buy those speakers where you strip the end of the wire and plug it in. And then it literally takes being able to dig a 10-inch trench and just run conduit.
So back that it's just the coordination effort. Everybody wanting to get involved, everybody wanting to help, trying to steer those people in the right direction and make sure someone's not going way ahead of someone else or getting out of the way. Not necessarily going to be a lone wolf, me doing everything, but it's going to take a big coordination effort.
It is going to, well, and it's going to take a community. If this is going to be a community field, it has to take a community effort. Cameron, obviously, Pockets, as I call him.
Pockets. Never heard that.
What? I'll tell you after the show. Cameron Denny, he's, what can I do? I'm wanting to stay involved, but my contacts with land are limited. Truthfully, in my mind, I thought Cameron, for as young as he is, really surprised me. I thought he was a great ref.
I thought he was too.
I think during his summer times off, if he wants to be involved that way, or he just wants to spread the word around. I play airsoft at this place.
That would be my thing. If Cameron, how you can help is you may not have contacts for land.
Shut up, Zeb.
But put the words out there.
Last comment.
Put the words out there to other people.
One, all the way at the bottom.
At other fields you may be playing at, and maybe they know somebody that you don't know. But hey, I got a guy. If you're tired of playing at these other fields, you want a new experience. I got a guy who wants to start a field. Let him know.
Read Zeb's comment. Last one.
I got to reopen your phone.
Nope. Sorry. Zeb's last comment.
I heard that Walker.
You and Darren, you just won't let it go.
Well, that's because it gets to you. That's why. And it's funny to watch you get agitated.
It's true.
Supposed to be the calm, cool, collected one on your show, man.
I'm never calm, cool.
Do you want to talk about Walker?
Walker, Texas Ranger.
No.
Sorry. Is there an echo in this place? Yeah, get involved, spread the word around. I think if Cameron could dedicate any time at all, obviously he's in college now, good for him. But if he's off on his vacation time during the summer, I'd love to have him back out of the field as ref or just as a casual player.
So looking back on that, looking on the outside looking in, you see this video and you're hearing everything I'm saying. There are other people who don't know that this video is happening, don't know that there's a guy who's looking to build a field. Those are the guys that need to hear this.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories with Cameron being a ref, I was playing a game and...
Shut up, Cameron.
Decided to set down my primary and pulled out my pistol because at Kiowa, I found an old 3-foot wide chunk of fence that was just laying there on the ground. So I picked that up and used that as a shield, and the guy I was running with goes, "Man, I don't think the refs are going to like this if they find us using this." Man, I don't care what Cameron says. And lo and behold, I turned around, and guess who was standing right behind me? All I got was this like shake of the head. "Matt, what do you think you're doing?"
Yeah. And the thing was, too, is he presents himself in such a way, you respect him because of how he presents himself. I've also heard some of his dumber stories, and you just look at it and go, okay, you're like, oh, yeah, you're 18.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I get it. Old Fart Airsoft, Zeb, Green Darth Maul. What would be the minimum amount of acreage you would need for a field? I think the minimum you would need for a field is 15 acres. Because you need parking, staging, the shop, and then 10 acres to run on. To get larger groups of people. That's my personal thought because I just played on 10 acres down at LZ. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, if we had... we only had, like, teams of 5 at the time. Had we had 30 guys, teams of 15, or 40 people, teams of 20, 10 acres is enough. 10 acres can cause some mayhem.
I know Zeb and I have actually talked about this.
Yeah.
It's a 2-part question. If the owner or leaser is willing to increase the quantity of land if they're getting their rent, I'd go down to 10. You could start with 10, run one field with some parking and staging.
Yep.
If it's a standalone,
so
you're
5 for parking, staging, and then 5 for play?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. I could see that. That'd be more of your CQB kind of situation.
That'd be your start.
Yep.
If
that would be your start. Yes, that would be your start. What is the minimum amount of land you would optimally like to... I mean, and I'm not saying like, well, optimally, I'd like to start with 150. No, nothing like that. Like, if we could get,
If it wasn't going to
if
grow.
we could get 60 people out there, right? Teams of 30 or 3 teams of 20.
I believe you could do it with 40 acres.
Okay. So optimally, you would like to be, whether you could grow or not grow, you would like to 40 acres. 5 acres, parking, all that, 35 or, 10 acres of parking and staging and all that, and then 30 acres of play.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, but that's the goal. That's the goal, is to have something that large to be able to play on, which is, 40 acres. Anybody who hasn't run 40 acres,
That's a bit of land.
that sucks. Especially out in Colorado with prairie dog holes and stuff like that. My ankles are bad because of it. Actually, remember how I told you I was running around with my kids that weekend?
Yeah.
These are the boots that I was wearing. By the way, these boots, yeah, they're 11 and a half years old.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So maybe you can have nice things. Let's back that up. You were talking about the amount of land or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Down the road, we're going back to that question of where do you see like in a year and 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
I would be amazed and would absolutely love to be able to, in 5 years, if we had enough land, to run national ops.
Truthfully, you can do that with 40 acres.
You can.
You can do it. And actually, no, because I ran the square footage on 40 acres.
43,000 square feet times 40.
Yeah.
You could. It's definitely doable, but that's...
Oh, no. That like, what was it? EVIC a couple years ago, they were talking about this op they were going to, and it was like warehouses and facilities and things like that. And they said it was on 1 million square feet of land, and I ran that, and that was 1 million square feet of land is not 40 acres. 40 acres is huge.
Yes.
I mean, for those of you who, I grew up in farm country. He lives out close to actually where I grew up. One of my best friends lived literally 5 blocks away from you growing up. So
Out in Kansas?
No.
That's the joke everyone says. I live in Kansas.
That's what's so funny is because I grew up out there. So for me to go out there, I literally just drive all the roads that I used to drive. It's a little different now because the King Supers and the Carl's Jr. and stuff is there now. And I'm just like, what? Well, the King Supers I moved out there before the King Supers was there.
They're putting in a Comfort Inn out there. If you haven't been out there, they're putting in a Comfort Inn. I couldn't believe that. Coming soon.
So you know where the Family Dollar is, and then the High Plains Diner, right behind that apartment complex.
Yep.
My brother lived there.
Fascinating.
My brother, his wife, and all that. So when I say like I grew up out there, I really did. And what's so funny is, for those of you who don't know how big 40 acres is, because you haven't been around that amount of land, 40 acres is huge. I would say, comfortably playing, you could probably run 2 teams of about 115 people each on 40 acres and not feel crowded. If you had enough cover, I would say.
I think realistically, yeah, you'd be right on.
230 players on a field with 40 acres, you could play comfortably. And I think you would have to bridge the gap of almost 350 to 400 players before you really started feeling crowded. 40 acres is a massive size. 10 acres, I think, would comfortably fit, obviously, a quarter of 230, you know. I think 70 players could play somewhat comfortably. 60, 70 players somewhat comfortably on 10 acres. As long as the game modes were interesting.
Yeah.
If the game mode was just force on force, it's going to suck. But if there's an objective involved, I think it's going to be great. So let's see if we have any more questions, because I got lost in the conversation.
That's when you had with Zeb.
Woo. Something about fences and nails. Walker. There it is again. If somebody has land they want and they're willing to get in touch with me on my Runner page, okay? My Runner page, message me. I will get back to you. I will get in touch with Matt, or I will get in touch with somebody who knows how to get in touch with Matt quickly.
Royce and I talk usually on a daily basis.
Huh?
Lately, the past like 2 weeks, you and I have talked on a daily basis.
Pretty close, yeah. Well, a lot of figuring stuff. I'm jumping back into airsoft, and I call the guys with knowledge. And then not only that, but I also have this grand scheme in my head, of the base. Essentially, like I'm starting the airsoft Illuminati.
Master plan?
Yeah. I have a master plan of controlling the world through airsoft. It's great. Okay, so Apocalypse Paintball is able to have 15 fields on 50 acres, make that the goal. I think our goal would be to do, from what you and I have talked about, I think your goal is more hour to hour and a half long engagements and really bring like that milsim to like the weekend play. Like try to kind of integrate the milsim style play into the weekend, because why go play at a milsim if you can just get it at your local Saturday games?
Yes, with a asterisk on that, if that's what the players are wanting to play that day.
Oh no, I'm totally down.
If the players are wanting 20-minute engagements, hey, let's just go at it. Team deathmatch and limited respawns. Let's just shoot each other. I'm totally okay with that. If they want objective based or multiple objective based, we'll have like a booklet there, like a binder, and like a deck of cards that goes with it. If you pull out the Ace of Spades, oh, it's team deathmatch and limited respawn.
Mm-hmm.
You pull out the Two of Clubs. Oh, hey, this is the amoeba game where you get shot, take a knee, stay there. Whoever tags you, you start fighting with them. Like a scenario book of if the refs or the players want a random new game, or the refs don't know what game to play next. Hey, you come pull a card.
Well, and we could come up with 50 different game types.
Oh yeah,
ranging from the basic, like your force on force, to your multiple objective types, ranging from your 15-minute games to your hour and a half long games. I mean, be very easy. Casey Thompson wanted to clarify. He said 1 acre is about 4 houses in a neighborhood for reference. I like that he said that. Don't really have a whole lot more questions outside.
You need a guy who takes good pictures.
No, Casey Thompson. Actually, Casey, message me on Facebook. I need to talk with you. It has to do with the Airsoft Illuminati. Just message me. Okay.
You really gonna call it that?
Until I know it's a for sure thing, because right now it's very much a concept. Until it's a for sure thing, I need to get people. It's the Illuminati.
Okay.
Because it's great. It's mysterious. It's slightly evil, which is like me.
Just like you.
A little bit manic. Just another manic Monday or Friday. Whatever. Illuminati. Except I don't have money like they do. If I had money like the Illuminati does, dude, we'd have like 5 fields.
Wouldn't be asking. We'd just be building their field right now.
Yeah. There would be no need for this. A playbook! ! Question mark, fucked up smiley face. That's what Old Fart Airsoft said.
Yes.
Map of the field. So I talked with him. Where do you want to put? Oh God. Okay. Now Cameron asks a question. Okay. Map of the field. I brought this up to Matt a while ago, and I think this is something we could do. Realistically, 3 towns, a 3-town field with offshoots and little
engagement zones.
No, not engagement zones. But like little gypsy camps and cemeteries and stuff outside of the town. So you have 3 primary towns with gypsy camps and traders posts outside of the towns. And, I always thought that would be a great.
So when we talked about this, we envisioned something like that. Like the towns are like what Kiowa Creek was. The village that everyone played in, or the town that people played in, that times maybe 2 times that big is the towns. And if you have the acreage to do it, you have like 3 of those around. Obviously, you'd have to build 1 at a time.
Yeah.
But start there, and then exactly like you're saying, between these civilizations, these bigger areas, you have these little compounds or gypsy camps or something where you're like, hey, someone could be in
cemetery here, a trader's town there, like literally like a strip of building, and we call it the Trader's Lane.
Yeah.
The gypsies camp where the witch lives, or something stupid that we can build, but essentially a field that we could build a story out of, a map. Think of the story, or a story that we could potentially run on the map. And this is where my train of thought was. I don't know where yours is. But my train of thought was come up with a game that could have a really killer story. Like you could run a story, right? Hey guys, This is story month. Every Saturday, we're playing the story. You go in for an hour, you take a half-hour break, you go back in, you continue the story, and they're in chapters, and kind of build the field to encompass a story. And then we come up with 2 or 3 or 4 more story modes after that. But that was always like my personal idea. I don't know what your personal idea was, but essentially build the map to where you could build the map in such a way that players could feel like they could be immersed in the game.
Kind of like what you were going with Piece to the Region.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, you could definitely do something.
And you
like
saw
that.
how complex Piece of the Region was.
Yeah,
Once
I almost wanted no piece of it. And then all of a sudden you guys were like, hey, you're involved.
Okay. Oh, yeah. People were mad at me for that one. Where do you want to put this field? Cameron Denny wants to ask. That's on you, dude. Where do you want to put the field? I would say probably if you were to take a protractor and make a 1 hour circle around like Bennett, basically an hour away from Denver, I think.
If you went in the Denver Metroplex and you put a protractor on there, or
from east to north,
go downtown Denver, go the intersection of essentially 25 and 70, go an hour. Draw a circle around there. Not necessarily looking into the mountains, because if you're looking for that mountain play, you got Titan you can go to.
Not only that, mountain play gets difficult in the winter time, especially with roads and things like that.
Yes.
I think Front Range starting like, and this would not happen, especially in the town I'm thinking of, but like West Boulder. Out obviously, yeah, right.
That's gonna go over well.
Yay! But essentially that kind of area, sweeping up north to probably I would say, southern Loveland, swinging out east, maybe catch some of like Platteville and all that, or even where I live. I'm only an hour away from Denver. LaSalle, Bennett, Strasburg, basically an hour away.
One of those where you're just starting to get tired of being in the car. Oh, man, you're there. Mm-hmm. That kind of concept.
I mean, you and I, we've already talked about this. You and I drive a decent amount for our jobs.
You more so than I, but yeah.
Yeah.
You get right at that hour, you're like, the normal person's like, I need to get out of the car.
I'm not normal.
I know I'm not either.
I get to about, like I said, I start getting a little twitchy at about that hour and a half mark. I start hitting that. Well, I start getting hit that hour and 20 mark. I'm like, man, I really feel this drive. I start hitting that hour and a half mark. It's like, all right, it's time to pull over at a gas station, grab some coffee, take a second, collect my thoughts and jump back in the car and drive. And there are days that I do that. There are days I will drive from Parker to Fort Collins. And when I tell people how much I drive every year, they don't believe me. So
to extenuate on that too, location-wise, location doesn't really matter as much. If I'm in another field's backyard, not necessarily afraid of that, but I'm not looking to create competition. I'm looking to build the community with this. Give everyone a place where you're accepting, no matter what your play style is, you can come play and have a good time.
Agreed. Yeah. I don't really know how much more we can go on about. I think we've really covered everything, and I definitely, I got your back. I'll help in whatever way I can, and I think doing this is my little small way of trying to. If you guys know,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, like I said, dude, I want to get. I just want to have a field that I can go and just play and not worry about it. Because it's either the drive that's going to kill me right now to get to a great field, which sucks because they're awesome. Or it's just the field management or reffing or whatever it happens to be that I'm a prima donna about and don't want to go to that field. Like, I'm not going to put that, but no, I mean, is there anything else that you want to say to close it out? You got any closing thoughts or?
I want to say it was actually something I think I read from you earlier today.
Oh, God.
You may have fields that you hear nothing but negative opinions on, but there are some people who don't have negative opinions of certain places.
But you followed that thread?
I did. So when you posted that brought it to my mind. The field that we won't name that you have an issue with, I personally have never had a bad experience there.
I have already named them on my channel. I have no problems naming them again because I have named them. Fields I have not named, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Go Airheads Airsoft Field. I've experienced some negative problems there. Matt hasn't.
I have
and
not.
This is a perfect example. Don't listen to me about a field. And there are a lot of guys out there. I was like, dude, you spoke my mind. I got a lot of comments like that on the video. They're like, dude, you spoke my mind. And then I get a lot of other guys like, man, I've never had that there. And then I have like Ross Domidio. I was talking with him last night. He tells me, he goes, dude, I've seen both days.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen the good and the bad.
I haven't had the bad experience, but I know I've been with players who have had it, and it's entertaining to say the least to watch the reactions of how they handle it.
I was with Derry, Ask Darrington, that day, dude. That was a bad bad day. I couldn't walk back on the field. I took batteries in my gun. So like,
You're just done.
I'm done. But my nephew, my 15-year-old nephew, was like, "Oh, I want to give it one more chance because I don't want to go out on a bad note." My 15-year-old nephew had to teach me a lesson in patience and morality.
Taught Big Bad Royce how to do it.
Dude, well, if you ever met my nephew, which I think you have,
we did,
Michael.
Kiowa.
Yeah. If you ever sit down and talk with him, yeah, he's 15, but he's not 15, if that makes any sense.
It does.
But yeah, and I was sitting there, I was like, man, maybe Michael was right, you know. So I go up, I meet him. His dad had called his phone. His phone was in my car, sitting in my car. I was like, oh, I better go find Michael and say, hey, your dad's calling you. So he's walking out of the game, and I was like, hey, man, how was it? He goes, that was terrible. He's like, does anybody call their hits here? Literally, this is what my 15-year-old nephew said walking off the field. He's like, I almost wish I didn't go back up on the field. And this is me trying to show my 15-year-old nephew a good time, trying to show him, like, hanging out with the guys, you know, trying to, you know, get him into this hobby that's really fun. And that was his last experience so far. So let's end it. Guys, if you need to get in touch with Matt, if you're interested in helping him find land, that is the biggest key right now. Everything else we can solve. We need land. We need land. He already has the business contracts drawn up. He already deals with business contracts on a daily basis, so he understands how to do that. He's already been making phone calls to get the insurance taken care of, and he already has a rule set that is absolutely fantastic. We need land to play on. Preferably, at the smallest, 10 acres. And we could probably cram some cars in there and park some people on top of other people if we had to make it work. We need land. If you know somebody who's looking to maybe they need some extra scratch and they have land, maybe this is something they'd be interested in because this could be an extra income source for somebody else. This could be a great thing for our community to essentially bring back Kiowa Creek, just in a different location. It won't be called Kiowa Creek, but we all know what it would be called.
Home.
Exactly. It would be our airsoft home. And if you guys want to help, if you are related to anybody or friends with anybody who's a real estate agent who might happen to know of maybe some land that's up for lease, get in touch with me, Runner Airsoft on Facebook. Message me. I will get in touch with Matt. I will get him in touch with you, and we'll make this happen. We'll make it happen. I don't know what else to say. If we want to have a field for the community has to be involved. The community cannot be passive. They have to be active. And I'm doing what I can, guys. But all I have is a webcam and a computer and a couple of microphones. We need some help. If we want that back, if we want that community back, I need your help. So help us out. Help us find land. Like he said, he could have something going in 2 weeks. That's all it takes. If you find the land, we could realistically have buildings up in 2 weeks. And maybe if you're helping us build, there could be some fun gameplay out there. Unofficial gameplay. What do you think?
I just want to say thanks to the community. Airsoft's only as fun as the community you play with.
Well, that's why I devoted my channel and my Facebook to it. Because I have guys like you. And I have guys like Darren and guys like Cameron. And Phil was there for me for a lot of it, too. And Ross is new to this community. We're getting to know Ross. You know, Zeb was there a lot. I met a lot of great guys.
Got that little group of guys you always got to go play with.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. As always, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell because supposedly all that crap does something for the channel. I have no idea. The podcast is going to become a normal thing as long as I have a lot of people that want to jump on and join in. And like I said, let me know what you guys think about doing the live product reviews. I think that would be something very interesting to do because recording and all that, it takes a lot of time. And to be honest, I'm lazy. And to be honest, the other cool thing is if I do it live, I could talk with you guys about it. So we're going to call it for the night. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you right back here on Runner Airsoft.